What up, YouTube? It's your girl DeeDee. Welcome back to the channel. So I am back with my thoughts video. So I just want to give my thoughts on another quick topic. Definitely chime in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on what I have to say. So I've been seeing videos of women crashing out, well, not really crashing out, but kind of crashing out about this so-called whole phase that everybody is saying that, oh, you must have, that you have to have this whole phase in order to get it out your system so that you can move on and you can appreciate a good man. This is what I hear some women saying. This is not all women, but some women are saying this. Well, my thing is this: if that's your choice, if you're a grown woman and you can have the right to choose to do what you want to do your thing. But I will tell you now that there are also a group of women who are complaining about the aftermath of said whole phase. So there are women who are out here who are becoming depressed, who are becoming bitter and angry because they can't find a man who will take them seriously due to their whole phases and becoming single mothers. This is what I think a lot of women who are still trying to push this narrative that this whole phase is something great and that every woman should have. Y'all need to start being more realistic and start telling these young women who coming up behind you that is actually not what they should be doing, that's going to lead them down a road of depression, heartbreak, loneliness, and much, much more. Y'all got to start being the more responsible groups to tell these young women that is not what they should be going after, that is not something that's going to make them happy, that's going to fulfill them, that's going to make their lives so much better. Y'all, the older women, are the ones who should be telling these young women to do better than what you chose. Because I see a lot of older women out here who are telling these women the wrong information, and y'all are excited about doing this as if it gives you some type of, I don't know, a arousal or something by telling these young women that they should go out here and be 304s and that they should go out here and sleep with every man that they meet. Like, why would you give that type of information to these young women, knowing you probably wouldn't even give that information to your own daughters or your nieces? Are you going to give that information to your daughters to go out and just be hoes and sleep with every man you meet? Just do it, and don't care about marriage, don't care about family. But then they end up single mothers struggling by themselves, and no man want to deal with them. So I just think perpetuating this is a slippery slope and a dangerous job. To tell these young women that they should be out here doing that, and to make women think that this is what they should be doing is asinine. I saw a video of a woman suggesting that what's her name? Aisha Curry should have had a whole phase. That she should have had a whole phase, and because maybe she'll be at peace. No, this lady has some other issues. It's not about being a hoe. Why does every woman want to? Why is that something that y'all are aspiring to do and be? I don't understand it. And then get mad when men state their preferences. When men state, well, hey, we don't want women with kids. We don't want women who done been around the block and then some. We don't want ran through women. We don't want women who never been married or never thought about marriage, who didn't prioritize a real relationship, but y'all just out here with situations. Get mad at men for having that preference. They want to say, oh, you hate your mama. Like, no, it's not that. It's just that they're smart. They have a preference. They realize what they want and what they don't want. And because you didn't have one, you're mad at them. We got to stop this because it just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. And I really think women need to get it together and first stop blaming others. Take some accountability. Accept the fact that when you're wrong, you're wrong. Stop trying to blame it on everybody else and just, make some changes. That's it. It's not about being wrong and, oh my God, I'm going to condemn you to hell. No, it's about acknowledging your faults, working on some things, changing your behavior, and doing better. Because if you want better outcomes, you have to do better. If you just can't expect the world when you don't put anything in. You want rich men. You want them to pay all the bills. You want them to do all these things while you got three babies and 3 baby daddies that you want this man to come in and take care of. Why is it fair? Because y'all like to go off of fair and feelings. Why is it fair for another man to have to come in and take on all of that? It's like you put in the least amount of the effort, and then you want the biggest reward from a man who has standards. Because the men that you gave babies to didn't have any, didn't care. They didn't have standards. They didn't care. You didn't have no standards. Y'all was doing whatever. And then you get the outcome you get. Now you want a rich man to come in and give you a whole new life. Sweep your feet up off the floor and give you this precious life where you don't have to lift a finger. Do you think you deserve that? Because women are always saying, oh, I deserve. Why do you think you deserve all of that? You've never put much into a man. You've never worked with a man to try to even build anything with them. But now you deserve a millionaire as a man to sweep you off your feet when he has to come in and take on your toxic traits, your past poor behavior results. He got to come in and do all of this. Why is that fair to him? Doesn't he deserve better? But a lot of women don't see themselves, and you don't see where you've messed up because it's been coddled. Nobody's ever told you, hey, you need to stop doing this. This is not a good look. You're not going to be the best pick or option for a man if you keep going in this direction. So once again, I think the overall thing, if you are past your prime and you don't have any more options and it's over for you, there's nothing else you could do, because there's nothing else you could do to make a man choose you. But what you can do is teach the youth better. You can teach the younger women coming behind you that they shouldn't follow in your footsteps, that you made mistakes and that you learn from them, but there's nothing you can do now. But hey, you do better. Y'all do better. Don't do this. You should prioritize family and husbands young. Having this whole phase when you're 20 something years old has not benefited anybody. The majority of these women who took that route are still single, complaining about men at 40 and 50 years old, even 60 years old. So that ought to tell you that that is not something to be proud of, for one. You should have more respect for yourself, for two. You should value and really love yourself enough not to put yourself out there, for three. And you should have standards and expectations, but you also should bring that to the table. You should be a woman that a man desires as much as you desire him. And being a 304 and having a promiscuous past is not desirable to most men. Not desirable in a way that make them want to be with you and take you seriously. Yeah, they'll want to sleep with you, and that's the difference. Sleeping with you is not a man taking you seriously. He just wants your body, and that's it. And if you are worth more than just your body, you should have enough respect for yourself to not put yourself out there like that, and have standards enough to say, no, and you don't need a whole phase as a prerequisite to life. Who said that? And then you have a lot of women who are Christians. Let's just add this on, who say they believe in God, but y'all are 304s. You run around here giving it to everybody, and you're a Christian, and God is, your right hand man, but you're not following a thing that he's saying. So I just think, yeah, we have a group of women who are out here complaining about the whole phases. They're realizing that this whole phase is not getting them what they ultimately want. And what they ultimately want is companionship. They ultimately want a man to be in their lives, to take them seriously, love them, and be with them and live life with them. But they're finding out they're not getting it, and they're complaining about it now. Now they're mad and complaining that men won't take them seriously because they have a kid or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. And that they realize that they may not have what they want because of the choices that they made in the past. So you got to understand, the choices that you make will come back to haunt you. It will. You got to make better choices. If you want better in your future, you got to make better choices when you're younger, so that you will have the outcomes that you want. If you sit back and you keep just doing whatever you want, thinking you're going to still get all those big outcomes, then you're in for a rude awakening. And that's what we're seeing unfolded. So now we have women crashing out and crying because they can't find a man who will take them seriously. They just want to screw. And that's all they get in the screw buddies, good time buddies, and that's it. And they're lonely. And we're coming up on that time of year when now people want cuddle buddies for the holidays. You want somebody to spend time with, and they're not there. So if you want better, you got to do better. You got to start making some changes. Change that mindset. You can do it. It's not impossible, but if you don't start, you're never going to get there. That's just my 2 cents.